This is lesson 3.6, mental math, add or subtract decimals. It is found on pages 145 through 148 in your workbooks. So does anyone know what the mountain climber named his son? Yeah, this mountain climber got married, had a son. Maybe he adopted him. Regardless, what did he name him? Cliff. Y'all may want to push me off a cliff after that joke. Moving along. Our learning target in this lesson, we're going to use mental math to add or subtract decimals. As always, like I've said before in the other chapters and other lessons, and we'll say again, I want you to be able to do it on your own. If you're 4 at the end, that's excellent. You can teach someone else to do it. Well, alrighty. Alright, now look back. It says use mental math to find the sum or difference. I want you to understand, though, that mental math doesn't mean that we don't show our math. We're still going to show our math, okay? This lesson may look a little different than we do other lessons, but we're still going to show our work. And at the end of the day, you know what? If you have trouble doing mental math, that's okay. You can do it the traditional way. But I want to show you how sometimes you can use mental math and it looks a little different, but you still get the same answer. Here's what I mean by that. So on our look back, use mental math to find the sum or difference. Here's what I'm going to do with this. In my head, I know that 65 plus 35 is 100. So I'm going to add those and get 100. Then I'm going to add 31. Well, that's going to be easy for me, right? Yeah, that was easy for me. And then, how am I going to subtract this? Well, it's going to be fairly easy because I know that I don't need to borrow anything. So 8 minus 5 is 3. 7 minus 5 is 2. 8 minus 2 is 6. So we got 326. So what mental math is doing is you're recognizing, oh, I can move these numbers around, or, oh, I don't have to borrow or regroup, so I can do this easier than most problems. Some problems you're not going to be able to do that on, but some problems you will, and that's what this lesson is for. So this lesson is not about trying to write less stuff down. It's just trying to show us, hey, what can go on in our minds while we're doing math that can be different than other ways of doing it. Well, all right. We're going to look ahead and use mental math to find the sum or difference. You notice that these are the same numbers, they just got decimals in them, right? Because we got 6.5, 3.5. I know that's going to be 10, and 10 plus 3.1, we're just going to have 13.1. And then again, I'm not having to borrow, so I can just do 8 minus 5 is 3. 7 minus 5 is 2, and 8 minus 2 is 6. All right, so let's write down some problems that we can use mental math with. And you can just copy down my problems here. I'm going to put 2.4 plus 5.2, right? Now I have to do any regrouping. All right, and let's do 8.2 plus 1.7. Again, no regrouping. All right, and let's do some in our differences. We can do 5.8 minus 3.6, no borrowing, right? And then 4.52 minus 3.41. Again, no borrowing. It's something that we can do fairly quickly in our heads without having to do a lot of work on paper. Alrighty, so let's look at our key concept. Use mental math to add or subtract. So we're going to use mental math to find 12.4 plus 3.9 plus 7.6. And what they've done is they use the commutative property to move these around. Then they're going to use the associative property because they want to put 12.4 and 7.6 in parentheses, so you do that first. So they know that 12.4 plus 7.6 is 20. Add 20 to 3.9, 23.9. It may sound a little complicated now, but I promise you, that with practice you'll be able to do it more. And you know what? If it's something that you don't want to do it the traditional way. I'm not going to hold you to one or the other. What I am going to hold you to is showing your work. Always showing your work. All right, so look at our other example here. Use mental math to find 6 and 7500ths minus 4 and 4600ths. So they're going to use compensation. You subtracted 400ths more than 4.46. So you must add 400ths to 2.25 to find the answer. So in other words, they subtracted 4.5 from 6.75 and got 2.25 because that's easier. Well, then they need to add back the 400ths to the answer because they subtracted 400ths more. So 6.75 minus 4.6 is 2.29. All right, let's do some in-class practice. All right, so a lot of this is work that I'm going to show you. You're not going to do a lot of it on your own because I want to show you how to do this and what goes on in my head. And then some of it you're going to do on your own. Okay, but most of it we're going to do together. All right, but all of it we're going to show our work on. So that's why I've given you notebook paper. If you're at home, you're going to need some notebook paper because there's not going to be room on this to show what's going on in Mr. Painburn's head. Alrighty, so here's what I'm doing on number 1. I'm going to use addition properties to add decimal, and I'm going to put these in different orders, and I'm going to add 4.25 and 2.75 first, and that is going to be 7. Why? Because 4 plus 2 is 6, 2500ths plus 7500ths is 1. That's 7. I'm going to add 1.36 to it, and that's going to be easy. That's going to be 8.36. 8.36. All right, on number 2, I'm going to add 12.75 to 5.25. I'm going to get, that's going to be 1. I'm going to add 1 to 2 to 5. That's going to be 18. Well, Mr. Painburn, there's 300ths that you need to add. Yep. 18 and 300ths. Okay? So it's taking the traditional way and just doing a little differently to use mental math. Right? Let me show 3 and 4 to you. All right, so on 3, I'm going to use compensation because I'm going to do 17.6 minus 13.6. I'm going to get 4. Well, I need to subtract 2/10 more from that because I added 2/10 to that, and 2/10 from that is going to be 3.8. 3.8. Yep. Subtracted 2/10 more. 2/10 more to get 3.8. So on number 4, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 29.8 minus 2.2. I'm going to just kick that 700ths out for now, but know that I'm going to make it. So it's going to be 6, 7, and 2. Well, now I've got 60/100ths. I can subtract 700ths easier than that. So I'm going to subtract 700ths from that and get 27.53. See, it's just about using some compensation to add or subtract and using properties to add or subtract. And again, if you want to use the traditional algorithm that we have been using, thinking that that's a little easier for you, that's fine. However, on each of them, you need to show your work. You need to show what's happening in that brain of yours. All right, let's move on to number 5. Well, that's going to be easy for me because I'm just adding 1s to that, right? I'm adding 1 to 8. I got 9. Adding 0 to those two, 34. Adding 1 to 5, 6. So 9.6. 346. Okay. What in the world are you going to do on number 6, Mr. Pingburn? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have 9.275. I'm going to subtract 5 from it. What? Yeah, I'm going to add 1/1000th to this and make it 5. That's a 5 with a long head there. All right, and so now I'm going to have 4.275. Well, if I added it to here, to this one, I need to add it to this one, which means I need to add it to the end. And it's going to be 4.276. Yeah, some of you are going, Mr. Pingburn, my goodness. Well, first of all, that looks like a comma, not a decimal, so I made it bigger. Mr. Pingburn, this is more complicated than I want it to be. That's okay. You don't have to do the mental math part, right? You can do the traditional algorithm when you do this on your own. However, let me emphasize this again. If you do mental math, you're going to have to show how you did it. Please understand, telling me that you used mental math when you didn't show any work is not going to be acceptable. Please understand that. Don't say you did it in your head and didn't show your work. You're not supposed to do that anyway. If you say, "Oh, I used mental math," show me. Show me what went on in your head on this. Okay? So please understand, this is not a way to get out of showing work. I really want to keep emphasizing that. All right, let me show you number 7. All right, in my head, I'm going to add these two. So we've got 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 2.45, we got 5.45. 5 and 45 hundredths. All right, and then on number 8 here, well, I'm going to add this one and this one. I'm going to get 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 plus 6.15, we got 17.15. 17.15. Make that 5 better. Make it better, not messier. Okay, 17.15. All right, let me show you 9 and 10. Alrighty, I'm going to do, oh, well, I don't have to borrow, so I'm just going to do, that's 1 minus 1 is 0, 7 minus 5 is 2, 8 minus 6 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, 2.21. Hey, let me get that 0.21 closer. 2.21. And then, yeah, see how I, the only really way I showed my work is to do those points, huh? Alright, so on number 10, I'm going to add 0.1 to 35.7, so I'm going to do 35.8, do some compensating here, minus 13.8, so I'm going to have 22. Well, since I added 1/10, I need to take away 1/10, so I'm going to need to subtract 1/10. That is going to be 21.9. 21.9, or, I need to put it under here. 21.9. All right, so again, just wanted to show you mental math, how it can look. If you want to use mental math, great. If you want to use the traditional algorithm, great, because on these next ones, you're going to choose what you're going to do to solve them. All right, so on your test prep here, I want you to read and solve that. Go ahead, read and solve that, and then we'll go over it. All right, so 2 years ago, he was this tall, and now he's this tall. So I need to subtract 1.25 Well, that's going to be easy, isn't it? I'm not going to have to do any carrying. Boom. Alright, so on this next one, it's going to want you to use each digit from 1 through 8 once to complete the sum. So here are the digits I'm going to use. You can copy this down. So 25.14 plus 76.38. Yep, see 4 plus 8 is 12. Carry that 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. Carry that 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. That's how we get it. Yeah, that's cool. Cool things that happen with math. Alright, so let's go on to 13. Okay, I want you to go ahead and solve that problem. You can use mental math. You can use the traditional algorithm. But remember, either way, you need to show work. Go ahead and do that and we'll go over it. Alright, so 5.6, 4.8, we got 14 and 10, 10.4, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to do mental math there, do 9 plus 4 and 9 is 1.3, so that's going to be 10.3. Boom. I'm going to do mental math here again, because 5.1, seriously, 5.1, not 5.5. I just need to do that quick, don't I? I could have done it in my head without even writing it down. And then 7 plus 2 is 9, 4 and 7 is 1.1, so now we got 10.1. There we go. Yeah, I did a little math, mental math, and I did some traditional math as well. Alright, same thing on number 14, except now you're matching differences. Go ahead and do that and we'll go over it. Alright, no borrowing there, so 24.5, 14.4, we got 1, 0, 1, 10.1. There you are. And again, we don't have any borrowing, so this is going to be quick. 4, 20 minus 10 is 10. 10.4. Alright, so 51.2, 40.9. I'm going to do the traditional, so I can just do some borrowing. 3, 0, 1, 10.3. And then to show our math again, 34.8, 24.6, no borrowing needed. Alrighty, well let's skip number 15 for now. I'm going to put that on review. Let's go to number 16. We're going to skip number 15 for now. I'm going to put that on one of your reviews and we're going to go straight to connecting this to real life. Alrighty, so connect to real life. Our example, a city received 75.5 inches of snowfall and 45.27 inches of rainfall in 1 year. How much more snowfall did the city receive than rainfall? And they just did the traditional algorithm there, right? Where they got the snowfall and the rainfall and the difference. They just subtracted. Yeah, see, even though they show you mental math, they did the traditional algorithm on the connect to real life. See? Yeah, you can do it either way. No judgment here. Either way. As long as you show your work, get the correct answer, I'm good. But remember, show your work. Alrighty. Number 16. Read and solve that, and then we'll go over it. Alright. On average, a professional baseball player runs from home plate to first base in 4.2 seconds. 4.2 seconds. The record is 3.1 seconds. How many seconds faster is the record than the average? All I need to do is subtract. It's going to be fairly easy because there's no borrowing. 1.1 seconds. Alright, now listen, I know that sometimes you think, hey, I can do this in my head and not have to show it at all. That's never going to happen. Never going to be acceptable to me. You have got to show your work. Number 17 and 18. Go ahead and solve those two and then we'll go over it. Alright, the total distance of the triathlon. We've got, I'm going to add these two first because that's 30 and that's going to be 1, so that's 31. And then plus 93 hundredths, I'm going to have 31 and 93 hundredths. Yeah, even though, come on my nines, even though that was fairly easy for me, might not have been for you. You may have done the traditional algorithm, but look, I still showed that I added these two first and got 30. Alright, make sure you're showing your work. Alright, so on number 18, how many more miles are traveled on land than in water? Well, these two are land. Remember we said it was 31. So we're going to take 31 and subtract 93 hundredths. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 7 hundredths to that and make it 1. So I'm going to do 31 minus 1, that's going to be 30. Well, look, if I added 7 hundredths to this, then I'm going to add 7 hundredths to the 30, and I'm going to get 30 and 7 hundredths. That's how I did it in mental math. Now, in my traditional way, I'd go 10, 9, 0 there to borrow. I'd have 7, 0, 0, and 3. So look, mental math, traditional algorithm gets the same answer. We're not getting different answers using different algorithms. We're getting the same answer just using different, not so much algorithms, but different strategies. Alrighty. Let's go to 19 and 20. Go ahead, read and solve that, and then we'll go over it. Alrighty, what portion of the water usage is from the faucet or clothes washer? So here's faucet, here's clothes washer. So 0.157, 0.217, so 1473. So 0.374. Alrighty. And then number 20, what portion of the water usage is from leaks or the shower? So leaks is 0.137. And then shower is 0.168. So 7 plus 8 is 15. That's 10. That's 3. So 0.0305 or 305 thousandths. Well, alrighty. This was an interesting lesson because on some of it we used our mental math to add or subtract decimals. I showed you how to do that. Maybe you did it as well. And hopefully you can do this. You can do it on your own. And again, you know what? If you're just using the traditional method, I'm fine with that. So, you know, if you still don't understand mental math, this is actually the one lesson that's okay. As long as you know one of those strategies and you use it well to get the answer correct, that's fine, right? So if you can use addition properties to add decimals, awesome. If you can use compensation to add or subtract decimals, awesome. All right? And if you still need help, I still love you. And you need some help, I will give it to you, or someone who totally understands it can help you out with it. All right, y'all have a good one.